In your personal life and on the internet, you will be hard-pressed to find an individual who loves sauces and condiments as much as the one you're looking at right now. Since I was very young, my parents told me that I would always be asking for it, so let's do it. Let's see which ones are going to be better than the others. Barbecue sauce, straight to S tier, fantastic with chicken, and chicken is the most common food I eat. If we're talking about Sweet Baby Ray's, if we're talking about Bubba's, I mean, there's so many good options here. Barbecue sauce I've always loved and is going to go straight into S tier. For me, I'm not the biggest cheese person, as you will find as we go out through this list, but Alfredo has to go at least A. I mean, Alfredo pasta is something I crave every now and then, and definitely a great option in terms of Italian cuisine. Butter has to go into S tier as well. It's terrible for you, I'm aware. Honestly, that fact alone of how bad it is could bump it lower, but bread and butter, I mean, it's literally a saying. It's at almost every restaurant that you can find for a reason. Fantastic. Gotta go into S tier. If we're talking about queso here with cheese sauce, I'll put it into A tier as well. I know for probably 90% of people making tier list, it would go into S, but I've had queso that I really don't like, or cheese sauces that I really don't like personally, so I'm going to keep it out of there. However, queso is fantastic in its best form, I will admit. This is chili oil here. I'm going to put that in C tier. Maybe I would try it, but it doesn't look like something I would really enjoy. So we'll put that in C tier. Cranberry sauce, I mean, that's something that you do at Thanksgiving, and that's it, right? With the turkey. I'll put it into B tier for that reason, but it's not something that I eat other than Thanksgiving, or anybody that I know that eats it outside of Thanksgiving. Cream, what? I mean, if it's just cream, that's going to go into D tier. Like, tell me what that's supposed to taste like. What is that supposed to taste like? I would not do that with any of my food, personally. Dijon mustard, very good. Bit of a controversial take there, but with bread, with some sorts of protein as well, it can be really good for a lunchtime condiment. Gravy's got to go B tier for me. You can put it on potatoes. You can put it on some proteins as well. Turkey, obviously, being the main one. These are these turkey condiments. I got them right next to each other. I don't seek out gravy personally very often, as I'm not a huge mashed potato person, but I gotta acknowledge and give credit where it's due. I'll put it in B tier. Guacamole, I didn't love until a couple of years ago personally, and I've started to grow into it more. I'm not the biggest avocado fan, but I gotta give guacamole its flowers. Truthfully, it should go into S tier. It is very good when you have onions, when you have tomatoes in there as well. Season it with some salt and pepper. Get some chips there. You are set for hours. It's really, really good. This one, Hoisin, Hoisin. Truthfully, I'm not sure, so I'm going to put that in D tier. I don't think I've had it. Hollandaise, from my limited culinary background, I do know that this is like a main sauce that you make with many different types of dishes. I just don't like the way it tastes personally. It's probably served at super nice restaurants common, but for me, I don't love it. Honey's going to go into S tier. I mean, same thing, man. You could put that on protein and bread as well. If we're talking about honey and you combine butter, dangerous. Really, really good. Honey's going to go into S tier. It's exactly where hot sauce is going to go as well. I took a bit of a hiatus from hot sauce during my university years, but I'm back now. I try and not eat it as much as I did before, but when I was a kid, I would put hot sauce on everything. I mean, Texas Pete, Louisiana, Cholula, all of them, truthfully, are fantastic. And shout out anybody watching this video who's had Taco Mac before in southeast United States, Georgia, around Atlanta area, and in Chattanooga, Tennessee as well. Their hot sauce is elite. Hummus, I'm not the biggest fan of personally. Don't love eating it. Don't hate eating it though, as much as these bottom three. Truthfully, I think it could go into C tier, but I'm going to give its respect and put it in B tier because of how popular it is. Ketchup, S tier. I had this restaurant recently in Nashville called Grill Shack, and they had spicy ketchup there, which was fantastic. I also like Heinz. So, yeah, I mean, fries, ketchup, everybody loves it for a reason. S tier. Maple syrup. See, for me, I'm going to put maple syrup in A tier. Give it some pancakes, give it some waffles, and you're set. But it's really, really sugary to me. I would prefer honey over maple syrup, as honey to me doesn't taste as sugary. So for those reasons, I'll put it into A tier. I know Buddy the Elf and many Canadians alike love maple syrup, so got to give it its respect. Marmalade, this is like similar to a jam. I haven't had marmalade in quite a long time, truthfully, but I feel if it was made from someone who has experience in it and with love and care, it would be fire. Thus, it's going to go into B tier. Mayonnaise, the easiest D tier of possibly I've ever done. Mayonnaise is gross. I mean, if you put it on anything, for me, I'm out, truthfully. Even on sandwiches, like I went to Publix actually last night to get a sandwich, and this guy had like this huge knife covered with mayonnaise. I'm like, you want mayonnaise on your sandwich? I said, no, 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 please. Please don't. Please don't. So it's gross. Really gross to me. Don't love it at all. I think mustard, plain mustard, is worse than Dijon, truthfully. Dijon mustard is better than just bland mustard, like the one you get packets at baseball games in America. I'll put mustard in B tier. Truthfully, it could go into C tier. Actually, yeah, that's where it's going to go. I mean, it's not horrendous, but I would 10 times out of 10 have Dijon over it. Olive oil's got to go into S tier. I mean, some restaurants do olive oil so well, you're just in, you're literally over the moon with happiness of how good it is. So I love olive oil with bread. And even though it's not good for you, it tastes really good. So that's why it's going to go into S tier. Peanut butter we'll put into A tier. When I had to gain a lot of weight in university, I needed to eat a lot of peanut butter, and thus it's kind of grown me out of the taste. It's good with chocolate. Quite obviously, there's so many peanut butter chocolate candies. The cereal is there as well. And then you pair peanut butter with jelly, and you're in a great spot. So I'll put it in A tier. Pepper, if it's fresh ground pepper, it probably could go into S tier, but I'm going to put it into A tier for now, as it's a really good complementary, seasoning, but it can't be S just because too much pepper can ruin a dish for me. Pesto, very, very good. Although it's something that I don't seek out quite often, I think in any sort of Italian cuisine, pesto can go along with basically anything you eat. So for that reason, it's going to go into S tier. Ranch, also straight into S tier. I was a blue cheese guy, which is actually not on this list, for quite a long time. I mentioned before I'm a huge chicken person. I love chicken wings specifically, and I would only get blue cheese for quite a long time. Now I've switched to ranch. If you put some pepper on top of your ranch as well, for me, that takes it to another level of bliss. Ranch is fantastic. It's going to go into S tier. Relish. Oh, man. I've had relish a couple of times on hot dogs, but I don't really love it personally. I'd rather have relish than these four on the bottom, but I'm not seeking it out anymore for the foreseeable future. I have a problem with salt. I'm going to be honest with you. I really do. I think it is so good. Salt, other than breakfast foods, some breakfast foods are better with salt, but it quite literally makes everything taste better, honestly. I need to watch my salt intake, truthfully. It's so good. It could easily go at the top of S tier. We'll put it right behind barbecue sauce. I love salt, and I think it makes almost any dish taste better that is not super sugary. Sesame oil. Actually, I don't really like sesame oil. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think I've had it one time, and I believe that it goes with more Asian dishes, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't really remember many details about it other than that, truthfully, so it's going to go into C tier. Soy sauce definitely has its place when I'm eating Asian food, Japanese, Chinese. I think I enjoy it more. I don't really have it in any context outside of that, so I'll put it in B tier. Then we have sriracha. Sriracha's good. I was not on the sriracha train for a while. My taste palette has matured, and I'm now a fan of it. Not as good as most hot sauces that you'll find, in my opinion, but definitely has its place. Sriracha is good. Sugar could easily go into S tier, but if you put too much sugar in something similar to pepper, for me, it's going to ruin the dish. But sugar with like a lot of fruit, anything sour tasting, is a really nice complement to make the food taste better. Sweet chili. This is going to go S tier for me. When I think about Chick-fil-A, they have the sweet and spicy sriracha sauce, which I'm going to compare to the sweet chili sauce here. I've also had this sauce on chicken wings before, and I really enjoy it. The combination of the sweet and spice is a really good complement for this dish, or for this sauce, rather. And so I think it's fantastic. It's going to go into S tier. Rounding out, we have these four here. I'm not a big tomato person, But if you're not feeling well, some tomato soup, grilled cheese, it can be pretty good. And it definitely has its place. So I'm going to put tomato sauce in B tier. Vinegar. This is interesting as you can't really eat vinegar by itself. I've never had it by itself with just bread. So, I mean, for me, I'm going to put it in C tier. Let me know what you think about that and in what instance you would just have vinegar by itself. I'm going to put it C tier. Obviously, salt and vinegar together, it tastes a lot better, but by itself, C tier for me. Then we have Worcestershire sauce. It is very potent in its own way and it has select usage, but I will say that when it's time for Worcestershire to shine, it shines very well. You have it in, small doses of salads. You can have it with certain proteins. For me, it is the perfect B tier sauce. And rounding out our list today, we have teriyaki in S tier. Man, teriyaki with rice, teriyaki with chicken, grilled chicken, fried chicken. I mean, you're good to go. Truthfully, it is such a good sauce and one that I frequent at least once a week, if not once every couple of weeks. This is my list now. How would you change things around? Where would you move things? And how was I incorrect? Let me know in the comments below. If you're still watching to this point in the video, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out many of the other tier lists that I have out and more that are going to be coming out here very, very soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.